Sorry, we got a little cut off at the end of that last video. So just what's important, the takeaway from the Korean War is you could say that it is an example of some success of the containment theory, just in the sense that communism did not ultimately spread to North Korea, which was the huge threat. So even though McClellan maybe overstepped his bounds by pushing even farther into North Korea, ultimately the fact that they reached that ceasefire line at the 38th parallel is important, because ultimately communism did not spread farther. Just one more thing here before we move on, that we have successful testing of the hydrogen bomb in the US in 1952 and the USSR in 1953. So the hydrogen bomb was far more destructive than the atomic bombs that were dropped on Japan at the end of World War II. So this is huge because both the US and the USSR have this capability. So you see that, now both these countries are huge nuclear superpowers. And this is going to launch into a change in foreign policy. Now we have a new president as of this time. We have Eisenhower as president of the US, and he institutes this new policy called massive retaliation. And basically the idea is that that countries will do everything that they possibly can to try to get the opposing country to back down. Under massive retaliation, we see a huge buildup of nuclear weapons. The idea was that it was much cheaper than having ground forces, as we saw in in all of Korea, that is. So, this huge buildup of nuclear weapons was obviously very dangerous, but the idea was to prevent both sides from actually using them. And this is a policy that's called Brinksmanship, which you can see as like a game of chicken. The idea is that each side builds up weapons as much as they possibly can to the brink of war, hence the name Brinksmanship, but neither one is actually going to make the first move and ultimately start a war. So Brinksmanship is an important policy to be familiar with here. Also, the idea behind this massive retaliation policy is an idea called mutually assured destruction, which again is the idea that that basically, if one country launches a nuclear attack, then the other country is going to completely destroy it, right? So, because of these weapons of mass destruction, these intercontinental ballistic missiles that are formulated at this period, basically it becomes this war of deterrence. Neither side actually ultimately uses these weapons. Just the fact that they actually possess them and that they are building them up so rapidly is enough of a reason to prevent war in itself. The next videos are going to focus on policies in Eastern Europe in particular. So we're going to see how that pans out, how the Cold War develops after Stalin dies under Nikita Khrushchev. So stay tuned for those.